Suppose you have a story or pericope from two different Gospels. Each pericope has two parts. In one pericope, those two parts are consistent with one another, and in the other, there's an inconsistency. That is, part A doesn't seem to agree with part B. You already believe there is copying between two Gospels, and you're trying to figure out who copied whom. If you take the consistent Gospel and assume it was first, it will appear as if the other Gospel, which we'll call beta, started out by making a change in part A, but then relapsed in part B. In other words, the copier fatigued. Since we've already assumed that the consistent Gospel was first, editorial fatigue explains the later inconsistency. But if we take the inconsistent Gospel and make it first, it will appear as if the later Gospel, which we'll again call beta, corrected the inconsistency, thus creating a consistency. Again, because we already assumed that the inconsistent Gospel was first, the observation is explained by a later copier fixing earlier inconsistencies. This is classic circular reasoning. It's a logical fallacy. Neither is right or wrong per se, but it proves nothing since the observations we want to see, editorial fatigue versus creating consistency, are preordained by our decision on which to place first. Unfortunately, this editorial fatigue phenomenon is perhaps the strongest surviving argument supporting the universally held belief in academia that the Gospel of Mark was first.